So I have been doing field agent for about 8 or 9 years, and in my opinion, it is the best side hustle you could do with your phone. Much better than Uber Eats or DoorDash because you don't have to wait at restaurants, pick stuff up, and drop it off. Much better than regular Uber or Lyft because you don't have to have people in your car. Definitely better than Instacart or Shipt because you don't have to go look for the stuff and then deliver it. So here are the tips on how to make the most money with this app. When you first launch the app, it may look like there's not a lot of gigs in your area, but the number one tip is super simple, and that is refresh, refresh, refresh. Keep refreshing them because these gigs drop all day long, and it depends on your area. There may be a lot of competition, and other people might grab them up, but there was so many times where I left my house with only like 1 or 2 gigs reserved, and then ended up doing gigs all day as they dropped. So just when you're in a safe spot, just refresh it. If you when you're about to go into a place, just keep refreshing it. Definitely when you're leaving the store, refresh it to make sure there's not other gigs in a store, and make sure that you plan your route accordingly. And the next tip is going to be with the settings in the app. So there's a lot of gigs that I personally would never do. So there is a way to hide gigs. So for an example, this real estate, it's kind of weird because you have to go and take a picture of someone's actual house for insurance, and this one was actually in a gated community, so there was no way I could do it. So if you switch from jobs to map, you will see a map view, which is good for planning your route. But now you could take the gigs that you're not going to do. So real estate audit, I'm not going to do. Pizza job, this is like a reimbursed one. I don't really do those ones, so I'm going to hide that one. And then now I could press map, zoom out a little bit, and then I can refresh it, pull it down and refresh it. Takes a little bit to load, and then now when it's refreshed, I have a map. So I have these 2 gigs over here. So let's say I was going up there to do gigs, I could plan my route accordingly. And because I hid the job, then I don't see the jobs that I'm not doing. Number 3 is to be discreet. Depending on where you live, it's a little bit of a gray area if you're allowed to take pictures of the shelves of the stores, or some managers don't like it, or employees, because technically if they're supposed to have displays and stuff that you're auditing and they don't, they could get in trouble. And most of the ones that I do, you don't get a letter of authorization. So if you are taking pictures and looking very obvious, the manager is going to come up to you and ask you what you're doing, and then they're going to call their manager and they're going to ask you for ID and stuff like that. And it just makes the gig not worth it, because there's some gigs that are $3, but they only take me a couple minutes. But now if I have to go talk to someone and talk to the manager and all that, it makes it not worth it at all, and it is kind of embarrassing. So a good tip that I would have is be really discreet. Don't look like you're doing the pose where you're taking a selfie. Just look like you're down on your phone, like you're texting. And most iPhones, you'll be able to take pictures as you walk, so you could keep it moving. But if you do get confronted by an employee, do not say, "Oh, I'm doing an audit, I'm making money," or anything like that. Here are some excuses I would recommend. You could say, like, my grandma is at home. She sent me to the store for her, and she wants to see what they have on the shelf. That works. Or you could say, I'm doing Instacart and my customer needs a substitution, so they're seeing what's on the shelf. You could say you're doing Shipt, or if you could say you're doing like a shop and deliver, because they have to let you do that. Next, and then going along with that, is my screen. If you look straight at it, you could see the screen, but if you look at it on the side, you can't see what's on it. So it's a privacy screen, so they won't see the Field Agent app. They'll just see a blank screen. Or you could just say I'm FaceTiming with a friend and they want to see what's on the shelf. This works every single time. When I first started and people asked me, I would say, "Oh, I'm doing an audit for Field Agent," and I got banned by a couple stores. It's super embarrassing and a waste of time. Next one is the most important one, and that is multi-app, because sometimes it is slow on Field Agent. They do have a lot of gigs, but sometimes it's slow, or even if it's not slow, you could multi-app. So there's a lot of times where there's gigs on Field Agent at Sam's Club, and then on another app that I would recommend is Observa. So on Observa, there'll be gigs at the same exact Sam's Club. So now you could do 2 gigs at Sam's Club and it saves you the trip. Next app is Mobi. This app is very similar. I have tutorials on all of these. That's the one I would recommend. And then another one is Shopkicks. This one gives you points you can cash in for gift cards literally for walking into the store. So if I do a Walmart gig and I'm already walking in, you just have to open this app and then you get points just for walking in, and then you could cash out for PayPal. And then the next, this channel isn't about like food delivery or stuff like that, but sometimes if I have like a 20-minute drive to the area where there's the gigs, I'll turn on Uber Eats, I'll turn on DoorDash, or I'll turn on Shipt, and then I could get paid for that drive there if it's going in the same direction. As an independent contractor, you could choose which jobs you take. So that's another great way to increase your earning and get paid for your driving is using the delivery apps only when you're going there. Or a lot of times when I'm on the main road by my house, there'll be a delivery from a restaurant coming back into my neighborhood, so I could get paid on the way back. So click the links down below to sign up for these apps and subscribe to make a full-time living with Field8.